Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with the beautiful Karina, my lovely prometida. And we are waiting for NOA2 letter to get adjudicated by the Service Center in USCIS, California. So we're waiting for an NOA2 letter, and our NOA1 letter is dated April 18th, 2022. So we're waiting just like you guys are waiting. Karina lives in Bogota, Colombia, although she is a Venezuelan, beautiful Venezuelan from Caracas, Venezuela. She's a legal resident of Colombia. And I live in the Panhandle of Florida, near Pensacola, north of Navarre Beach. And this video is coming from my back garden, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, because it looks like a big rainstorm's coming in, and I wanted to make a video for you actually on the beach. But because of the weather, I want to make it in my garden so I can run inside if it starts to downpour and lightning. But I will be heading to the beach tomorrow to make the other video. So come on along. This video is about if you have a baby overseas, Miss Beneficiary, you're engaged to an American citizen, or you're married to an American citizen, and you get pregnant and have a baby in your home country. Is the baby an American? What happens? Do you need a visa? Does the baby need a K2? Come on, I'll explain it to you. Okay, so you get pregnant, Miss Beneficiary, and you're a little worried because you're going to probably give birth to the child in your home country, whichever country that is. It doesn't matter what country, okay? And if your sponsor is or if you're married, it could be under a spousal visa, and your sponsor is a U.S. citizen. And then you give birth to your child, you should report the birth to the nearest U.S. embassy or consulate as soon as possible, okay? You would go to the embassy and report the birth of the child, which means you're going to need the birth certificate with the baby's name on it, okay? Why do you have to do that? Well, that way the consular officer at the embassy you can then report the birth of the child abroad, okay? It's called a consular report of birth abroad, or CRBA. Remember that term, CRBA. And when you report the child's birth abroad during the consular report, CRBA, your child can then get a U.S. passport, okay, and claim U.S. citizenship. Once you report the birth of your baby, your beautiful little baby boy or baby girl, the U.S. Embassy or Consulate will then provide you, Miss Beneficiary, and your sponsor, one original copy, one eligible copy of the CRBA, okay, or the Consular Report of the Birth Abroad. So you're going to get a copy of the CRBA. And what is a CRBA? Well, that's a document that is a legal document that identifies that your child is a U.S. citizen at birth and was born in a foreign country. Now, the CRBA does not prove as identity of the child's legal parents. That's up to you guys to do that. But it does identify the child as a U.S. citizen. So the State Department is going to issue these CRBAs to children born abroad, born overseas, who acquire U.S. citizenship and are under the age of 18 at the time of application. So you got to be, if you're born overseas to an American citizen, you have to do all this before you turn 18, okay? And the name or names that are listed on the CRBA are the U.S. citizen's parents, so the sponsor and the beneficiary. And they must have a genetic connection to the child, a genetic or gestational connection to the child. And this may be proven with DNA testing, depends on the embassy. And then you include the name of the parents through whom the child's claim to U.S. citizenship is made, must be also listed on the CRBA. All right? A parent who is not transmitting U.S. citizenship may be listed on the CRBA with the consent of the parent who is transmitting U.S. citizenship. So you, Mr. Sponsor, will authorize your beneficiary's name to be put on the CRBA at the embassy or the consulate. You got that? So how do you apply for the CRBA? Okay, well, you apply for a CRBA by completing Form DS-2029. DS means Department of State, so this is a Department of State form, DS-2029. For the instructions, visit the web page on the nearest U.S. Embassy or Consulate in the country where your child was born, go to the embassy webpage and navigate to the American Citizen Services section. Okay, so you go to the American Citizens Services section and look up DS Form 2029. Okay, now this application must be signed in front of a consular officer, a notary public, or any other person qualified to administer oaths. Okay, now if one parent is not a U.S. citizen, that's fine. Okay, and if the U.S. citizen parent who is transmitting citizenship to your child is not present while applying for the CRBA, that parent must also complete Form DS-5507, which is a supporting document or supporting evidence that it can be used to list the periods of time that you spent together with your American citizen sponsor. Okay, so that's another form you got to fill out if the sponsor's not in the country when you do this. Very important. Okay, another thing you have to do if the child was born out of wedlock. Okay, let's suppose Miss Beneficiary, you gave birth to your baby, and you guys aren't married yet. Well, obviously you're not married because you're on a K-1 visa process, right? And obviously your father's a U.S. citizen, or else the father of the baby is a U.S. citizen. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to apply for the K-1 visa benefit. You must also use Form DS-5507 to acknowledge that the child will be financially supported by the American citizen sponsor. Okay, the Form DS-5507 must be signed by the dad at a U.S. embassy or consulate, or in front of a U.S. or foreign official who registers births or who is responsible for oaths. Okay, so you got that. All these different forms you got to fill out. So, question: can you do this? Can you apply online to do this? Well, the State Department offers the beneficiaries and sponsors the option to apply online for the CRBA, and you can do it, at U.S. embassies and consulates for about 40 countries. Okay, so there's only about 40 countries that will accept an online application. So check with the website of the embassy, and you go to your nearest U.S. embassy or consulate webpage and learn if they are accepting online applications. And the State Department says they're going to expand this online service to more countries this summer, which is right now, right? Close to it. So if you want to apply, you go to online, you go to My Travel Gov page, go to the My Travel Gov page to learn how to create an online account. Okay? And what if I'm a U.S. citizen, national, born in a U.S. territory? Does that count? Does your child qualify for a CRBA, or yourself? Okay, so if you acquired U.S. citizenship or U.S. nationality when you were born in one of the current or former territories of the United States during relevant time periods, but you are not eligible for a CRBA because you are not considered to have been born abroad. So you're basically considered an American citizen, so you don't have to go through all this paperwork. Okay. When applying for a passport, a U.S. passport, you may establish acquisition of U.S. nationality by submitting a birth certificate issued from the local vital records office, along with any other evidence required to establish acquisition of U.S. nationality. Okay, so let me go over the countries for you that make you an automatic U.S. citizen, where you don't have to go through all this paperwork. Okay, if you were born in Puerto Rico after April 10th, 1899, Puerto Rico, U.S. belongs to the United States, part of the USA. Okay, you don't need a passport to fly to Puerto Rico. The U.S. Virgin Islands, if you were born after January 16th, 1917, U.S. territory. American Samoa after February 15th, 1900. Guam after December 23rd, 1952. The Swains Island, if you were born there after March 3rd, 1925. The Panama Canal Zone, if you were born before October 1st, 1979. So now it's, so you have to have been born there before 1979, so this probably won't pertain to anybody. Now Panama is its own country, so you'd have to go through this CRBA, this process, okay? The CRBA process. The Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas Islands, if you were born there after January 8th, 1978. And if you were born in the Philippines before July 4th, 1946, okay? but that was before, not after. Okay, so that won't pertain to you guys right now. So you're going to need to get this document. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thanks for watching this video, and we will see you soon with your K1 and K2 visa in your passport, flying on an airplane. Woo, coming to the United States with your K1 and K2 visas, okay? Don't forget the live stream. I do a live stream on the K1 visa process on Wednesdays at 5 p.m., on Saturdays at 7 p.m., and on Sundays at 11 a.m. Central Time here in Florida. And remember, I'm not an immigration attorney. I'm not giving any legal advice. This is just videos to help you from my years and years and years and years of experience going through the K1 and the CR1 process. And we'll see you soon. And stay patient during this process. The most important thing is to stay patient. Thanks for watching.
I'll be back.